So for this month's series, I would like to talk to you about It's Done. So for part one of It's Done, I want to talk to you about your book. Now, you're probably thinking, I don't have no book, y'all. I ain't wrote no book either. But I'm talking about our book of life, our life. Each chapter of our lives, depending on where we are, what we're dealing with, it's almost like you can look at it as chapters in your book. Almost like, if you want to look at it like on a child sense, it's like elementary school, maybe middle school, high school, college, marriage, all these different chapters in our lives. Our chapters don't always end the way we always want them to end. And you know, when you read a book, most people read a book from the front to back, right? That's the way our lives go. It goes from front to back. But the author, who is Jesus Christ of our book, he looks at our book and goes from back to front, okay? Because he already knows the end result and how our book is going to end. We have no clue. We don't even be knowing how the chapters of those books gonna end, right? But one thing I want to say is that we're in the Christmas holiday season. Sometimes Christmas can be hard for a lot of people for many different reasons. So let's be sensitive to that, because you don't know what chapter have just ended in someone's life and they're moving to a whole new chapter. When I look at going into a whole new chapter, I think of like uncomfortable, right? Because once this chapter ended, you're like, okay, I've healed from that. I've grown from that. I've forgiven people from that, all of that. So it's time to move on. You know, each chapter, we should be growing. We should be maturing. But every new chapter that begins is usually an uncomfortable chapter because we don't know what to expect. We don't know where we're going sometimes. We're like, okay, God, just take the wheel. Let your will be done. I'm just going to sit in the little passenger seat and watch you do your thing. If we are not there yet, we need to get there, y'all, because we have to fully trust in God. He knows every chapter of our book. He knows the beginning. He knows the ending. He knows how the new chapter is going to begin, how it's going to end. We don't. But when I look at the month of December, this year is ending. And for some of us, it's going into a new chapter. I don't know what you're looking forward to in your next chapter of your book, but I'm telling you, I'm looking for greater and bigger things. This month, well, not even this month, y'all. This year, I have grown. I've learned a lot about other people. And I've definitely learned a lot about myself. And the season that God got me in, I've come to realize that I have to accept it for what it is, even when it's uncomfortable. So I don't know where you are, what chapter of your life you're in right now, whether it's the beginning of a new chapter and it's uncomfortable or the ending of a new chapter for your life. And it might be a little bit difficult, but my encouragement to you would be, hold on. God has a perfect plan and he will not put more on you than you can bear. So I want to ask you today, are you ready to close that chapter or start a new one? That's your food for thought. Because whether we're closing out a new chapter or starting a new one, God is always in control. Amen. Amen. So today I leave you with this. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 2. And it says, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. So before I go, I just want to remind you, if you haven't already, check out my website at www.talkswithshay.org. You can subscribe to my videos on YouTube and find me on Facebook. Like my page, share my page, invite your friends to like my page. And until next time with Talks with Shay, Shay is out. Y'all stay blessed.